Welcome to the Misquamicut Beach Podcast, a podcast spotlighting the businesses, newsmakers, events, and memories of Rhode Island's historic Misquamicut Beach.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Misquamicut Beach Podcast. I am your host. My name is Ben Barber, one of the producers of the show. Today, we have a very, very special episode. We have two guests on today's show, three actually, technically. First, I stopped by the Seafood Haven, or the Seafood Haven 2. After 25 years, it closed down at its location for all of those 25 years, next to the Weekapaug Bridge last season. And this season, there was a lot of questions as to whether or not it was going to happen. And they found a new location, and they opened it up right next to the Purple Ape. So it's very cool, and I got to stop down there during their ribbon cutting ceremony on Wednesday, June 27th. And talk to Bob Barber, who I am not related to, even though people ask all the time, and Caswell Cook, who owes me money for mentioning his name on the podcast again. So I talked to them for a couple minutes about the new location and everything about Seafood Haven, but that's very brief. And then we're going to get into the main bulk of the episode, which I'm very excited about. Comedian, impressionist, radio and television host Michael Petit of Petit Productions, and he is going to be at Sandy's Lighthouse on July 22nd. Definitely, you should all check that out and listen to my interview with Michael Petit. It's hilarious. It was a phone interview, so I'm just warning you now about the quality, but it was fantastic, and can't wait to see him in person and hear those impressions in person. Wonderful guy, very nice guy, and very excited about that. So Michael Petit, July 22nd at Sandy's Lighthouse. And here we are with Bob Barber and Caswell Cook introducing us to the new Seafood Haven. All right, so I'm here at the grand opening, the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Seafood Haven 2 with Caswell Cook and Bob Barber. How are you guys?
I'm good.
I'm well, thank you.
So you moved locations after 25 years. I know that it wasn't necessarily your choice, but you got to be happy with the turnout today.
Yeah, we had a great ribbon cutting from the Chamber of Commerce and all our fellow business people down at the beach, from Patty's and the Windjammer and Sandy's Lighthouse and all around, and Beachcomber Realty and Purple Ape. They all came and helped us and said hi. And then, we're just we were at the other end of the beach for 25 years. We had a great landlord that was good for all these years to us, and when he passed away, it was time for us to move on down the road. So we didn't know what exactly we were going to do or how we were going to do it, but we decided that this thing that we're standing in front of, which is actually a food trailer, has actually become really cool, and we've got it all tricked out thanks to George Tattersall. And we cut the ribbon. We have the same menu. We're just the other side of the pond. And people can come. Same phone number, 322-0330. Website, seafoodhaven.net. Facebook, Seafood Haven 2. And we're open for business with the same menu.
That's right. And you're right next to the Purple Ape on the main road to the beach, the main road right before Atlantic Avenue. Bob, would you like to add anything?
I really couldn't have said it better. Caswell's the spokesman, and I do all the other stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much. It was an awesome ribbon cutting ceremony, and thanks. I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
Come visit us at Seafood Haven.
Okay, so here with me today on the podcast is Michael Petit. Michael grew up in Attleboro and started his career in radio. He worked for 92 Pro FM in Providence, and then some radio work in Boston before moving out to Hollywood. He is a host, an on-camera talent, and a comedian first and foremost, and a wonderful impressionist. And we are very, very happy to have him here. He is going to be doing a show in Misquamicut on July 22nd that we're going to talk about a lot in this episode. And, of course, we're going to just get to know a little bit about Mike and have some, what I think is going to be a lot of fun. So, Michael Petit, how are you?
Hey, Ben, how are you? Very excited to be coming down to Misquamicut Beach, where, I grew up here in New England, and we enjoy the four seasons here in New England. We have, Sprummer and Finter. So you got to get to the beach and hurry up and get your chairs lined up, because before you know it, there's acorns.
Yeah, exactly. Summer's great. It never seems to last too long, though.
Just thinking about it right now. How exciting is it? This weekend it's going to be high in the 90s, and winters are tough, but we are. I always say we're hardy New Englanders, or we're just too foolish to not move.
Yeah. So you grew up in Attleboro, and Misquamicut is definitely a vacation or a weekend destination for a lot of people in Connecticut and Massachusetts. Did you ever come down to the beach when you were a kid?
Absolutely. I just grew up in the whole area going down there. The traffic was okay, and you were just so excited to go and enjoy everything in the Rhode Island beaches. And Misquamicut was just always something where, as a kid we'd go down. But even when I moved around the country with my career, I would come back, and I've got some nephews. I would take them down there, and it's just a great experience with the beach, and then later on the clam cakes, the chowder, all things that make up New England. Are all readily available.
Absolutely. So you started. What made you? Obviously, you're on the show today. Number one, because you're going to be an amazing guest, but number two, because you're going to be at Sandy's Lighthouse on July 22nd.
That's right. For the past 30 years, I have been, gainfully employed, and it started off, I'm an impressionist. I'm a character actor. As a young child, I was always amazed, captured by the moving pictures and sound of the television. It started off with the cartoons of whether it was Popeye the Sailor Man or Looney Tunes. It was just something that I always started to do, Ben. It just happened. I can't explain it. I don't know how it happened, but it just did. And that's the beauty of being a little kooky. A little loony. So it just, it's one of those things where I realized I could capture the sounds and the facial expressions of characters. And, Mel Blanc was one of my idols growing up. And, so more, Ben. But it's just doing cartoon characters. And I think what really made me have an epiphany or an awakening was when Rocky came out. Rocky Balboa was like, listen, I can do that, and if I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do that. So the Rocky movie was really, I was probably about 13, 14 years old, and come out of the movie theater and get on the ground, start doing push-ups, and I can impersonate him, and that's when I realized my calling. During high school, it was one of those things, class clown, and it was just like, good afternoon, there'll be a pep rally in the gym at 2:30. All students should attend. Michael Petit, please report to the principal's office. But I actually, I'm very blessed and very fortunate. I went to broadcasting school in the Boston market and learned the basics about, how to work a microphone and do some light production, and started working at the 92 Pro FM in the Providence market, 1989. Worked there for a couple of years, and then just radio career, and started doing stand-up comedy. But it really kind of all hatched from doing live remotes from the radio station. That's where I really learned the skill set of doing interviews with people and holding a microphone. And then I moved to Los Angeles, and that was just wow, ultra competitive. That's it's either New York or LA, and I just went west to work on my Irish tan. That's another thing you're not going to hear is this is the year I'm going to work on my Irish tan. No. Pass me the ketchup so I can put some ketchup then on me ketchup. So, I just grinded it out in Hollywood, and it's tough. It's a tough business. And it's one of those things where it's a passion. It's what I enjoy doing, performing in Vegas, cruise ships. I'm an impressionist. So when I come to Misquamicut on the 22nd, I am going to be hitting the stage with some very funny comedians that are going to do a great job. We're going to do a 2-hour performance that'll be family fun, and it's going to be a slew of impressions. I do a Las Vegas show without the gambling and the smoke. But it's just that's what I do. I'm very blessed, and it's going to be a great night, and all that fun stuff. When you talk about the water, Ben, you got to talk about the sharks. The thing about a shark, Ben, it's got lifeless eyes like a doll. Sometimes a shark goes away, Ben, and sometimes the shark don't go away. That's what you're going to get there on the 22nd of July down in Misquamicut, Chief.
That's awesome.
Thanks, man. We're smiling, and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. That's a good thing, man.
Definitely. So when you moved out to LA, what was your first job out there? What was the first opportunity you got?
Oh, immediately I just hit the ground running, and agents and managers and development deals and sitcoms and things. No. Basically, my first working job was Table 5 needed water. No. No, I never was a waiter. I just basically did I did some home improvement sales. I enjoy, working outside. I kind of learned a little bit of that craft and that skill from my dad growing up. But it was just I was working with the cruise industry, and they have what they call fly-on entertainers. They fly you to the port, you get on the ship, you do a few shows. You can either leave out of California or they fly you to San Diego. So I was fortunate. I did grind it out doing sales part-time, but on the weekend, I could go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday and get on a cruise ship, do shows, and still be in Los Angeles.
Right.
And then, the breaks. It's just you're trying to catch a break, and it's one of those things where, I've had the managers and the agents and learned so much from grinding it out, from experiencing Hollywood and LA, and it's just something where I'm very fortunate now to be back here in New England and to work and perform and to do. I produced some television in the past. I just enjoy being creative, and that's part of being an artist performer. But live performances is where my happiness is. That's the stage is my happy spot.
Yeah, that's definitely something that makes a performer is feeling the most comfortable and happy on stage. I think it's funny. I have several friends that moved out to LA to be actors, and it seems like most of them started not at restaurants but at a company called 1-800-Dentist. And it's ironic, they all were working as phone operators for this company 1-800-Dentist, and they all wanted to be actors. The ironic thing is when 1-800-Dentist made a big national TV commercial, they filmed it in Westerly.
How ironic.
That's so ironic. Yeah, and none of those people were in it. But
welcome to Hollywood.
Exactly, yeah. So
we like you, but we don't like what you do.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, it's really, there's no blueprint. There really isn't. At 52 years old, I'm healthy, which is most important now. But I work, and it's just something where you continue to do what you do. The old cliche: if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it.
Right.
But it's just. So it's one of those. People don't realize that. You look at somebody like a Regis Philbin. Regis Philbin was doing morning shows in Los Angeles, in New York, for years, and he knew he wasn't a household name. Regis Philbin didn't really make it till he was late in his 50s.
Right.
And that's why he was always yelling. He's always yelling because it took him so long to make it. But it's just, how do you define success? I consider success working. I continue to work. I've got 2 performances this weekend, Friday and Saturday. I'm going to be down in North Kingstown, down in your neck of the woods doing a show. And then Saturday night, I'm doing a private party. So it's entertaining, MC hosting, and you have to be diverse. And I'm sure your friends share the same mindset. You have to be doing different things than just one thing. And now, obviously, what we're doing, a podcast. What's a podcast? People didn't know about that 7, 8, 10 years ago. They didn't know. We didn't have the internet. So there are so many tools that are readily available for people to showcase and market their services and talents. It's really an exciting time for talents. I mean, American Idol, Voice, all of these programs that are out there, it's never been like that. YouTube, you know this stuff, and you're a tech guy. It's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of people in your field are the reason why one of the main reasons why podcasts have become so popular is comedians. Comedians, a lot of comedians found it as a direct way to talk to their audience and advertise. Sure. And instead of calling into morning shows every day, trying to talk to people, they went on and they talked directly to their audience, and now they're a lot of them are selling out theaters and stuff now just because of their audience, and they don't need to go do the media blitz that they used to do because everything is so niche now. Like there's more outlets, and maybe people don't have the big time 70s and 80s success where there's 3 television stations and you do a 5-minute spot on Carson and that's it, you're set.
Ben, it's funny that you mentioned Johnny, because I must say, Johnny Carson was the trailblazer. He was the original one who came out and welcomed everyone, tucking themselves into bed. It was wild.
I'm just going to keep naming famous people so I can set you up for this.
Well, and of course you got Jay Leno from Boston, and Jay always did all that kind of stuff. And, now I'm just kind of playing with cars. That's what I do, So yeah, it's an amazing, exciting time for people, and yeah, I do impressions. That's my thing. I open up the forum completely on stage. I do my performance, and I say, look, I do take requests, which is very, it's uncharted territory for comedians. But I enjoy that whole give and take with the audience, because I can go and someone will yell a name out, and I'm very blessed to say, they're like, hey, can you do, Arnold Schwarzenegger? I was like, what are you talking about? Why are you doing that here now? I don't know what you're saying to me. Yeah. So it's just something that I do.
How long does it take you to get an impression down?
Well, people have to have character mannerisms, and as an impressionist, what you do is you exploit those mannerisms. You exploit them, you magnify them, and they usually have a tagline. That's usually a catchphrase or a tagline that people make. Dana Carvey was always somebody. I mean, well, you go way back, it was Rich Little. He was, he does the best impersonation. Richard Nixon does the best impression of Rich Little I've ever heard. Was always like, I'm not a crook. Listen, that's what I do. And then you had the Bushes during their time, and it was like, not gonna do it. Look, I hear what you're saying. I would make things up and just kind of wing a ding it, and Will Ferrell would do that on SNL, and Dana Carvey, and then you had Bill Clinton, and listen, it was just something that we do, man. That's how it all goes down, man. And now, of course, we have the current president, and everything's huge. Believe me, it's huge. That's what we do, man. It's amazing. And I'm excited to come down to Misquamicut Beach on the 22nd. It's going to be incredible. We're going to have chowder. We're going to have seafood. We're going to have toes in our sand, Ben. Toes in our sand. sand in our toes in our sand. It's incredible.
What's the most obscure impression that you do?
Thank you for asking. So yes, I just did some very generic impressions that, respectfully, most people can't do, but a typical impressionist can do political. They can do Hollywood celebrity. I think some of the most bizarre impressions that I do, if you're from New England, you're going to appreciate these. Red Sox fans, I've actually had the privilege of meeting Joe. He's the announcer. So here we go. It's Joe Castiglione as the Red Sox open up a big series this weekend with the New York Yankees. And with me now, it's former manager. It's Terry Francona. Hi, Terry. Joe, I'm excited to be back here at Fenway Park. It reminds me of the old days when we had Big Papi and Manny, and we'd win, World Series. So those kinds of impressions, people from New England really dig, and obviously I live very close to Foxborough, so we have that team up there in Foxborough that keeps winning Super Bowls, and Bill Belichick, Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. Ben, we got a lot of work to do, man. We're gonna be making people laugh. I think it's it is what it is, man. So those types of impressions, those are local, homegrown ones that people really get and enjoy. On a national scale, on a worldwide thing, a lot of people everybody loves Raymond. Not many people can impersonate Ray Romano, and I've actually met Ray years ago at a golf tournament, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Yeah. Have a good day playing golf. Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, have a good day. Yeah, what are you doing?" He almost sounds like he's walking by you.
Yeah.
How you doing? Yeah. But then if you slow Ray down, it's actually Billy Crystal. Look, that's what we're doing. We're coming to Misquamicut on the 22nd of July, 8:00. Get your ticket. There's all kinds of impressions. It's going to be hilarious because that's what we do.
This is probably my favorite episode just because I don't have to say anything. I just get to be a laugh track.
I'm the middle child, Ben, so I was neglected my whole life. But we are coming to Misquamicut, and we're doing great things down there. It's going to be a great summer. It's July 22nd. It's going to be huge. It's going to be incredible. Believe me, it's going to be huge. So impressions. So, yeah, I started in radio. It's just one of those things where radio DJs and people who were listening to this, and you go back to the 50s, DJs were like, "Hey, baby, this is the Wolfman Jack. That's right. We're coming down to Misquamicut Beach, baby. We're going to be having some LOL. Hey, baby, it's the Wolfman Jack." Now, Ben, do you even know who Wolfman Jack is?
Of course I know who Wolfman Jack is.
Well, you were a well-versed man.
Speaking of, do you, is there anybody that you ever did the impression of them to them?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's funny. Oh my gosh. So I was an intern in some radio years ago, and I worked at Premier Radio Network. And one day, walking down the hallway was the man, the icon, the legend, Casey Kasem. And here he comes down the hallway, and yeah, he had the sweater, and I was just a coffee getter. And I walked up to him, and I said, "Hi, Casey. Nice to meet you." And he looked at me, and he says, "Do it again. You're fired." And the hits just keep on coming. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where sometimes, the agent or somebody will introduce you and they're like, give them some, or just people you go, and I like to play golf. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy playing golf, which is the game of golf. I just got to play in a very exciting golf tournament down the Cape for the veterans, supporting the veterans of Cape Cod. And the gentleman that I was sitting with introduced me to somebody at our table after dinner, and he says, give him some Caddyshack. So I was like, "Hey, oh boy, I tell you, a tough course out there, get it easy, baby." And then I gave a little Judge Schmeals, little Caddyshack. So we entertained them that way, but every time somebody asks for a little Judge Schmeals, I always give it to them, Ben. Now, if you change that character, you go from him, It's the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz. I do believe in courage.
This is impressive. This is all very impressive. I'm sure that you know that.
Hey, thank you, man. You are on my Christmas card list.
The only impression that I've ever tried to do, because I thought that it was funny and ironic, was I used to make a joke that I could do an impression of Frank Caliendo, not doing impressions, just Frank Caliendo right before he does an impression,
Sure.
because I kind of I can, you know, his voice gets a little higher and my voice is a little high, and that's it. Just I naturally can sound a little bit like Frank Caliendo, and I thought that it was funny because he's well known as this, you know, great impressionist. And I was like, I can do Frank Caliendo, not any of his impressions that he does. I can just do him going like, "Have you ever noticed that John Madden?" That's it. Like,
right.
That's all I could do.
Sure. Sure.
So
there you go. There's the ultimate form of flattery, is the impressionist. You know, that's what it's all about. So obviously Frank has mannerisms of his own that people can pick up and exploit. So this is just, look, comedy. People need to come out and laugh and have fun, and that's what we're going to be doing. And hopefully we can do a bunch of these, and maybe I can meet you someday, and we can do some impressions together, Ben.
Well, I don't think again I will not be able to do impressions, but I love to watch. What would you say is your favorite? Do you have a favorite? Impression that you do?
You know,
or is it like trying to pick your favorite child?
It's like that, you know, because I'm very fortunate to be able to be a chameleon. You have to be a chameleon. So if I'm doing a younger audience, it may become a Homer Simpson. I don't know who it's going to be, Ben. You never know who's going to be Joe. Oh, my God. Or it could be Peter Griffin from The Family Guy. Oh, yes. My God, I just love him. He's fantastic. If you have a younger crowd and you do that, see their faces light up, well, that's exciting. And then if I'm doing an older audience, and I start giving them some All in the Family, which I grew up on, and my parents were like, oh, you people, they're laughing, huh? It's that kind of stuff. So it really is. There's really no favorite that I do. I think it's just the reaction of the audience that really is the magic, and that's really the addiction for entertainers. Whether you're a singer or a comedian or a guitar player, whatever you do, that interaction and seeing the reaction from an audience is really that's what makes me happy. So I wish I could give you a straight answer, which I could not. I'm an impressionist, so I think when someone goes, "Hey, give us this, give us that," that's the fun thing. But boy, you got me thinking. I'm trying to, it's just I don't really have a favorite impression. I have a lot of voices that I like to do. See, like when I do Raymond, I could do Everybody Loves Raymond, Ray Romano, right?
Yeah.
So I can go, yeah, what are you doing? But then I can lean in like that and do Mr. Brad Garrett, which was Raymond's brother on the show. And a lot of people don't really even know exactly that I'm going from one voice to the next, my friend. That's exactly how the magic happens. You don't know what's going to happen, so just be there on July 22nd at Misquamicut Beach. It's going to be unbelievable, my friend. Unbelievable.
Awesome.
How's that, Ben?
That's great. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you do any do you do any Disney characters? Because you did some cartoons at the beginning, and I'm just wondering, like, because cartoon voices are kind of purposefully imitatable, like you're trying to. I would imagine, at least when you're doing voiceovers and stuff, and you're trying to create a cartoon, like Peter Griffin, like Homer Simpson and stuff. You almost want to be ripe for impressions, right? Because if you can get people trying to do the impression, then they're talking about your show more. And, there's a reason why people do Goofy and Mickey Mouse and Peter Griffin and Homer. And, it's sort of the impression, to me at least, I think the fact that those voices are easily impressionable, not good impressions easily, but the fact that they make you want to impersonate the person, I think helps the show. You know, I think that it helps those brands and stuff. The fact that you want to impersonate them, that you want to do an impression of the wacky voice. Do you think that that's true?
Oh, absolutely, and it's also the visual effect. When you see a Homer Simpson or a Bugs Bunny, you look at Bugs Bunny and Buck Keys is like, oh yeah, very good. Oh, I love my carrots; they're so good. And then you look at the Daffy Duck and the way that they are, the lisp. But that's the package. And that's what animation, how brilliant and exciting animation is. It's just, it's when someone can impersonate a character, they basically have learned to adapt what that voice talent has been capable of doing, which is you have resonance in your voice and people are like, what? Well, I have resonance in my head. I have characters in my brain, but you have resonance. You can go to the back of your throat, and there's ways to emulate and to extract and to impersonate. And it's just something I have no idea, Ben. I have to be honest. I can't act like I know how I do what I do. It's just I can't tell you how I know to go back into the back of my throat and my eyes roll up and my lips go a certain way. I don't know how to, it doesn't sound very, very appealing what I just described, but how do you know to do a certain, it's just something that you can do. You reach in and you hear it, and some voices you just can't do, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And sometimes, those body movements or facial expressions and stuff, they just come with the territory. It's like, is that what forces the voice out, or is the voice making you make that face? Like, it's just part of the package.
Very, very interesting questions and thought-provoking. It's one of those things. Al Pacino. I mean, yeah, okay. That's what we're talking about, Ben. We're talking about doing the voices. Hoo-ha. How do you do it, Ben? I don't know. But here we go. On the 22nd, Misquamicut Beach, we're going to be making them laugh. Hoo-ha.
That's awesome. All right.
I can't tell you the last time I did an Al Pacino, but when I go to Dunkin' Donuts, hi, welcome to Dunkin' Donuts. Can I take your order? Yeah. How you doing? Let me have a large Al Pacino. Hoo-ha. I think we'll have a sellout show on the 22nd. Ben, what do you think?
I hope so. So it's July 22nd at Sandy's Lighthouse. What time is it at?
I believe it's it might be a 9:00 show.
All right. We'll have it in the description, definitely. But anyway, July 22nd at Sandy's Lighthouse. You can find more information about it at Misquamicut.org or on the Misquamicut Beach Facebook page, as always. Michael, thank you so much. This has been
Ben,
a wonderful episode.
Yeah, and my website, if I could share that with you.
Oh,
folks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Where can people contact you for bookings or any other inquiries?
Why, thank you. It's Petit Productions, PETIT Productions, plural.com. PetitProductions.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, man, you've been great, and we'll see everybody on July 22nd, Ben.
Awesome. Have a good one.
You too, sir.
Bye.
For more information on the events and businesses in Misquamicut Beach, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and at Misquamicut.org.